Okay, so thank you all so much for being here. It's great to see you as always. This is the Bolden Moore, RG Bolden, Annabelle Moore's introduction, library's introduction to email class. Of course, last Saturday we had our introduction to the internet, so this will be email. And then we're looking to have some more classes in the future. That's still kind of up in the air. I'm looking at maybe like an introduction to Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint in October. So just kind of stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled when it comes to that, because it looks like that may very well be a reality, but we'll just have to see how as the events unfold and if we're able to schedule those classes. But it's a certainly a possibility at the very least. So let's go ahead and get started. As I mentioned, as I said, I have a PowerPoint here that I constructed, that I put together with information about email. And a lot of it's, this is kind of, this is an introduction class, so it's pretty, sort of common sense, simple information. But for those who might not be very familiar with email, might have some questions regarding email, hopefully, this will give you a better idea as to what exactly, email is, what it entails, the different functions it serves, etc. Just good general background information as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's see here. Okay, let me see if I can. There we go. That's okay. Okay, okay, here we go. All right. Now, can you see the PowerPoint? Can you guys see the PowerPoint here? Okay, good, 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 good. Okay. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint I have here. Introduction to email. Of course, my name is Patrick C. McCarty. I am the library manager for the RG Bolden Annabelle Moore Library, which is located on Wiggins Road here in Jackson. So here we go. Without further ado, let's proceed. So introduction. Here we go. Do you ever feel like that you're the only person who doesn't use email? You don't have to feel left out. If you're just getting started, you'll see with a little bit of practice, email is easy to understand and use. Okay, so this is, like I said, it's an introduction class. So if you're unfamiliar or uneasy about anything, don't fret, don't feel discouraged or frustrated or upset, because it's anything that's new that you encounter in your life, it's going to take some getting used to. It's going to take some getting accustomed to, and some practice. So don't feel concerned or anxious or antsy about anything. We're going to work through this together. So here we go. Getting to know email. Email or electronic mail is a way to send and remove messages across the internet. It's similar to traditional mail, but it also has some key differences. To get a better idea of what email is all about, take a look at the infographic on the next slide and consider how you might benefit from its use. So I have this infographic. Hopefully you can see it okay. This is in relation to traditional mail and email. Okay, as you can see, the address that's listed for traditional mail is addressed, I'm sure you know, is addressed with the recipient's name, street address, city, state, or province, and zip code. And here's an example beneath or below. Elena M. Casarosa, 202 Cedar Lane, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27601. And then over on the opposite side, we have an example of an email. Email addresses are always written in a standard format, but they look quite different from traditional mail. An email address includes a username and an @ symbol, which is that A, of course, with the circle around it, and the email provider's domain. Usernames often include numbers and shortened versions of a name to create a unique email address, and will usually look something like this. And right here is an example of an email address, emcasanosra82@gmail.com. Now, so we go from the address, and you can see sort of the differences between a traditional mailing address and an email address. Now we're going to jump to delivery. Traditional mail in a sealed envelope or package is delivered to a home or post office box by a mail carrier. Okay, how does that contrast or differ from email? Well, email is delivered electronically across the internet. So it's received by the inbox of an email service provider such as Gmail, Yahoo, or Outlook. Those are just the big three. There are other examples, of course, as well. AOL used to be obviously AOL used to be a huge service provider 20 years ago, and it still exists. Very few people use it, but that would also be an example of a service provider. There are countless others, of course. And then time. So we go from delivery and now time. In the case of traditional mail delivery can take anywhere between a couple of days to a couple of weeks, depending on where it's being sent. Whereas in contrast, email is delivered instantly or usually within a few minutes. So those are some of sort of the contrast between traditional mail and email as it pertains to these three topics: addresses or address, a delivery, and time. So that is, the infographic that I wanted to share with you about email and traditional mail versus email. So let's move forward. Okay. Now, address. Okay, this is an example of a traditional address. As I mentioned in the previous slide with the infographic, traditional email is addressed with the recipient's name, street address, city, state, or province, and zip code. So the example that that's featured below, of course, was the example that was in the infographic. You have the individual's name, in this case, Miss Elena M. Casarosa, excuse me, and her street address, which is 202 in this case, Cedar Lane, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27601. So that's an example of let me go back, of a physical address. All righty, so moving forward, we have email address. Email addresses are always written in standard format, but look quite different from traditional email. And as I mentioned, there's the example that I just went over with Ms. Casarosa's email, Gmail. In this case, Gmail is the user domain address, emcasanosra82@gmail.com. And so delivery, we went over that. How delivery is different with respect to traditional mail and email. With traditional mail, you have obviously the post office, mail carriers, et cetera, that are used. With respect to email, it's just sent from one person's email or inbox to another person's inbox. And then I mentioned the three email service providers, the big three, the mains, probably the most popular three without question, which are Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook. And again, traditional mail, is usually in a sealed envelope or package and is delivered to a home or post office box by a mail carrier. Okay, and then time, of course, we went over time as well. Usually, traditional mail takes a couple of days, a couple of weeks, depending on where it's being sent. Whereas email is sent instantly, or at the very least within a few minutes. Okay, email advantages. Okay, some of the advantages include productivity tools. Email is usually packaged with a calendar, an address book, instant messaging, and for more convenience and productivity. So when you have Outlook or something like that, whatever your provider happens to be, it's going to contain, a calendar where you can kind of keep track of all your different events, other important engagements that you might have scheduled, certain reminders, whatever. You have that function available, the calendar function. Same for address. You have an address book where you keep track of everyone's email and phone number too. You can keep all of that documented in the address book. You have the instant messaging capacity that exists, and it's more convenient and productive. Access to web services. Okay. With an email address, you can access different web services such as Facebook and Amazon, for example. You go on Amazon, Amazon.com is certainly, a site where you can access to that you can order a lot of cool stuff from, whatever you need, whether it's books, clothing, you name it, electronics. But you're going to need an email address to sign up for that. So that's why email is critically important and advantageous at the same time. Not only is it important, but it's to your advantage to have one, because you'll be able to access sites like Amazon, like Facebook, etc., Facebook, of course, is a social media outlet platform, one of the most popular going today, along with Twitter and a few others. So that's why email is really critical. That's why it's important. Is you'll need it to access a lot of web services nowadays. Easy mail management. Email service providers have tools that allow you to file, label, prioritize, find, group, and filter your emails for easy management. You can even easily control spam or junk mail. So, you know, if you're neat and orderly, I have to admit, I'm not at times the most neat and orderly individual in the world when it comes to my email. I have an inbox with a lot of email that probably should be deleted and should have been deleted years and years ago in some cases. So, but you can keep track of like, okay, what email do you want to keep or retain? What needs to go in your junk file? You know, you can keep track of all of that. You can file, you can make sure that everything is neat and orderly and to however you want it to, whatever arrangement works best for you, whatever's more easily manageable. So you have that capacity with email, whether it's Yahoo, Gmail, you name it. Privacy concerns are very, very important, critically important, vital. Your email is delivered to your own personal and private account with a password required to access and view emails. So privacy is very important because, you know, you have certain mechanisms in place in order to access your email or in order for someone else to access your email. They just can't type your email address and voila, they're automatically logged in. It requires, of course, a password. And if they don't know a password after a certain period of time, you know, your email account is you know, locked out. So that's really, that's you know, to your own benefit, really, because if, you know, someone who's engaging in hacking or identity theft, whatever the case might be, if they don't know your password, they might know your email, but if they don't know your password, they're not going to be able to access your email. So that's why it's really, you know, privacy is very important and very something that is, you know, highly stressed. Communication with multiple people. You can send an email to multiple people at once, giving you the option to include as few as or as many people as you want in a conversation. So really, when you're constructing or composing an email, and I'll go over this as well to show you, you can actually CC, right? CC is where you include multiple recipients. It doesn't just necessarily, it's not necessarily a situation where you can only send an email to one person and one person only. You can send an email to 5, 15, 20, 100 people. You can include as many as you want, or it could just be one person, or you can send it to, you know, one person can be yourself. Oftentimes here at the library, that's the case because, you know, when someone is trying to, they have like a picture in their phone or something like that, that they need in their email that they can print out from one of our public computers. What they'll do is they'll send that picture from their phone to their email and then access their email from our computer and print the document or print the picture. So that is oftentimes the case. So you can send emails to yourself as well as other individuals and multiple individuals all at once. Accessible anywhere at any time. You don't have to be at home to get your email, receive your email. You can access it from any computer or mobile device that has an internet connection. So that's very convenient, very advantageous as well. Understanding email addresses. To receive emails, you will need an email account and an email address. Also, if you want to send emails to other people, you will need to obtain their email addresses or email, you know, address. It's important to learn how to write email addresses correctly because if you do not enter them exactly right, your emails will not be delivered or might be delivered to the wrong person. That's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to multiple others as well. When you're sending an email to someone, you want to make sure that that person's email address is accurate because if it's an email address that is similar to the one that to the recipient's, it will either be a situation where the erroneous email that you sent the information to document, whatever it happens to be, it either goes to that address, which of course belongs to someone else, or it doesn't go through because that address doesn't exist because it's never been created. That's happened both cases that I think have happened with me. I've never really gotten or received a a response from someone else who had that erroneous email, but the address was really close to similar to the email that I was the email address I was trying to send the email to. A lot of emails there, but anyway, so in both cases, I mean, it does happen on occasion, which is why it's like when you're calling someone on the phone, right? You want to make sure you have that person's exact phone number. If it's 601-222-6654, you want to make sure it's 6654, not 6655, because, or else you'll call someone else inadvertently on accident. So you want to make sure all the information that you receive is accurate. As it pertains to anything, just not emails, but phone calls, any kind of information. You want to make sure you cross all those I's and cross all those T's, and dot all the I's, Let's see, understanding email addresses. Okay. There you can see an example of an email address here. What's merce.flores73@gmail.com. Okay, and there is the user domain, gmail.com. And so that would be, oh, excuse me. Let me go back here. Okay. Okay, in the meantime, does anyone have any questions before we proceed? No? Okay, I'm just going to, like I said, I'm going to go over the slide first, and then I can, we're going to be a little more hands-on after that. I'm going to log into my email, and we can kind of go forward with that process. Oh, I'm sorry, Latangela, what was that?
You can mail letters in the mail.
You can. That's what's
with
called
the address on it.
That is correct. With a physical address, you can send a piece of mail to someone else if you have that person's address. That's right. That of course differs from email. Email is just all you need is the person's email account, email address, and that's it. But with physical mail, you'll need, as I went over, you'll need the person's phone number and street address. So that's kind of how the two differ. But anyway, so this is an example of an email, as I mentioned. So let's go forward. About email providers. Okay, a little bit of information about email providers. Okay. In the past, people usually received an email account from the same companies that provided their email access. For example, if AOL provided your internet connection, you'd have an AOL email address. While this is still true for some people, today it's increasingly common to use a free web-based email service, also known as Webmail. Anyone can use these services no matter who provides their internet access. So again, in this example, AOL used to provide internet access, and so you were obligated to have an AOL email address. Nowadays, that's not the case. It's more wide open. It's more, there's more of a, there's more diversity when it comes to various email providers that you can use and access. Yahoo, as I mentioned, Yahoo, Gmail, and Outlook are just three examples, but there are others, of course. So that's changed, significantly over the last 20 years or so. Okay, and again, webmail providers. Today, the top three webmail providers are Yahoo, Microsoft's Outlook.com, formerly Hotmail, and Google's Gmail. These providers are popular because they allow you to access your email account from anywhere with an internet connection. You can also access webmail on your mobile device. There are the three right there, as I just mentioned: Gmail, Outlook, and Yahoo. And it's good if you have like a mobile device, like, for this class, for example, if you weren't able to connect to your internet or your your desktop or your laptop, you can use your cell phone or your tablet to access this class. And that's just one example. So there are a variety of different ways to utilize the internet and to, be able to log into your email account. Other email providers, many people also have an email address hosted by their company, school, or organization, like I do, for example, with the Jackson Hinds Library System. That would be an example. These email addresses are usually for professional purposes. For example, the people who work for this website have email addresses that end, and this is an example of the website of as far as the information that I used for this PowerPoint, the source, the website that I cited in constructing this PowerPoint. So like different organizations, schools, for example, universities, different companies have, you know, an email address that is corresponds or is tied or attached to their work or their school, you know, or different other organizations as well. Okay, email applications. Many companies and organizations use an email application such as Microsoft Outlook for communicating and managing their email. This software can be used with any email provider, but is most commonly used by organizations that host their own email. So again, you know, Microsoft Outlook is, you know, an example of that. As it pertains to companies and organizations that use an email application. Email productivity features. Okay, again, we kind of went over this a little bit. You know, about the different why email is you know really advantageous and why it's convenient with respect to the different features and functions that it has. Instant messaging, where you can chat with people, online address book, online calendar, public profile, where you can like upload a picture and provide information about yourself and your work history and your school educational history, status updates, all of that, you know, so it's very impersonal, you know, it's very you know, it's there's more to it than just being able to send and receive emails. So there's a lot more to it than that, which is very, you know, very instructive and fun at the same time, very cool. Okay, setting up your own email account and unique features. As I mentioned, you know, for example, my private email, my personal email account is Yahoo Mail. Not everyone has, some others have. I have a Gmail account as well. I don't use it as much. I use Yahoo typically, but there's Outlook as well, as I mentioned, the big three. And then what you'll need to do, and what we're going to do here is we're going to practice using an email program. You're going to sign up to create an email account, navigate and get to know the email interface, compose, manage, and respond to email, set up mail on a mobile device. So we're going to go over a few of those things, a few of those functions later on. Okay, pros and cons. Pros to email. It's fast. Most messages are delivered within minutes, sometimes seconds around the world without the inconvenience and cost of using postal service. In fact, postal service is often, as I mentioned, I used this term a few minutes ago, is often referred to as snail mail by email users because it takes so long for mail to be sent from one individual to another through the post office, you know, through traditional mail. It's personal. While the nature of email is informal, efficiency is an excellent substitute for telephone conversations. So that's, you know, that's good. And then lastly, you can think through your response. For example, when you're communicating with someone via telephone, you know, you don't really have a lot of time to think about what you're going to say. When you're composing an email or composing a text message, whatever the case might be on the internet, or writing a letter for that matter, same process. You have an ample amount of time to, like, you know, collect your thoughts and to make sure that you put down everything that you want to convey, that it is, you know, that it's clearly thought through, that the grammar is correct, spelling, punctuation, etc. You have all that time, and you can always come back to it. I'll show you how to do that when you're working on an email and then you have to stop for some reason. Maybe you need to take the dog out for a walk, or maybe something came up, you received an unexpected phone call, and then you have to leave the house or something, whatever the case might be. You can always come back or go back to the email that you were working on. It's usually what happens is it becomes it's sent to your draft file, and then you can always access it from there. You can go back to it, and then you can finish working on it and then send it to whomever it needs to be sent to. You can, you know, so you have that, you're provided that luxury as well. Okay, pros of email. So now we're going to go to cons. There are some cons. In most cases, there are pros and cons with respect to just about everything. But in this case, specifically, junk mail, also known as spam. This is as annoying an email as it is with traditional mail. Try not to send unnecessary messages. So I'm sure you guys, you all who have an email account have received junk mail in the past, and it is annoying. It is aggravating. But it's just something you have to be mindful of, and you know, and usually it's not. Sometimes it's not, but usually it's kind of easy to pinpoint or understand, you know, or differentiate, distinguish actual regular mail email from junk mail. So, but junk mail is one of the you know, one of the things that you have to deal with if you have an email account. No question about it. Ads. The reason you can get free email services like Yahoo is because of advertisements. You pay the price of having to click around them to read your email, to read your mail. So you have that situation as well when it comes to ads. And then misinterpretation. Email arrives with it without a tone or hand gesture or hand gestures, which can lead to misunderstandings. Text messaging, same process, same thing. When you're texting someone, you're not verbally communicating, and you know, you might be joking with someone, for example, but they might not fully understand the context of where you're coming from, you know, because it's written and not verbal. So that leads it open to a misinterpretation on behalf of one or both parties. So you have that situation as well. Okay, now, okay, here. So that will do it for the slideshow. I have cited a couple of sources. And okay, the end. So I hope you all enjoyed the slideshow presentation that I put together. Let me exit out. Okay, stop sharing. Okay. So does anyone, before we proceed, does anyone have any questions or anything that you need me to go over again or discuss in more detail as it pertains to the slideshow? If you want to, you can either, okay. Yeah, your voice is cracking up. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chats right now. Hopefully you can hear me okay now.
Hey,
Hey, Latangela, can you hear me okay?
can you cut a PowerPoint?
Oh, what is that? I'm sorry.
Can you cut a PowerPoint?
Now, what part was that?
Can you cut a PowerPoint?
PowerPoint. Can I copy? Well, what I can do for you, if you're interested, Latangela, is I can send you the PowerPoint via, I can send it to your email. Would you like for me to do that?
Yes.
I'll do that. I'll send it to your email and you can look over it then. And same for everyone else. If you want me to send the PowerPoint to you, just let me know. I think you should have my email address where I sent you the link to the meeting. Just send me an email indicating that you'd like for me to send you the PowerPoint that I have, and I'd be more than happy to do that.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. My pleasure. Anything I can do to help. So what we're going to do now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back and show you, I tell you what, does anyone have I would assume everyone has an email. But what I'm going to do is I am going to show you how to create one. Okay, so I am going to go into Yahoo. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. And I am going to, okay, create a tab. And let's see. Let me go here. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to create a Yahoo email. So first thing you'll need to do here is go to yahoo.com. And it's the same thing with Gmail or Outlook. I'm just using Yahoo as an example here. Okay, does anyone want to tell me, I'm on the Yahoo's official website now, yahoo.com. If I want to create a Yahoo email, what do I need to do?
How to sign up.
Sign up. That is correct. That is correct. So in this case, what I'll do here is I can click on sign in. And then
create an account.
Create an account. That's right. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Okay. I am going to create an account. So I'm going to use, I tell you what, I'm going to use let's see here. The first name I'm going to choose is, now I'm going to go with my name, Patrick. My last name is McCarty. And I'm going to create, and here's a good thing here when you're creating an account here. You see on Yahoo, you see they actually provide you with some options that you can use when creating your Yahoo email to choose from, I should say. Patrick McCarty 681. And then you have the domain, user domain, which is yahoo.com, at yahoo.com. McCarty Patrick 924, Patrick McCarty 80, McCarty Patrick 29. I'm going to choose Patrick McCarty 80. I like the sound of that. That's the one I'm going with. So we're going to roll with that one. It does ask for your birth date. That is, and here we go, password. So for my password, I'm going to create a password. Okay. And then it's asking for a mobile phone number. I'm going to bypass that. I'm not going to include a mobile phone number. And birth date, I'm not going to include, and then gender, male. Okay. And then I'm going to press continue. I'll write this password down. Okay. Okay, now it's okay. In this case, it's indicating that a mobile phone number is required. So what I'm going to do in this case is I am going to, because this is just a test account, it's not one that it's one that I'm going to do to delete. So for my mobile phone number, I'm going to include the phone number for the Bolden Library, which is 601-922-6076. And for my birth date, I'll just include my birth date here, December 28th, 1987. Okay. And then I have to retype the password. Can everyone see okay? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Good deal.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Good to know. Okay, so let's go. Press continue. Okay, here we go. Now it's asking, okay, it's asking me to verify my phone number. So let's see here. Can I I'll tell you what. I am going to, because I don't want to give my cell phone away. I don't want to give my cell phone number away. What I'm going to do, but basically that's how the process is. When you're creating an email account, that's how you do it. Is you fill out, you go sign in this case, and then you can register for to create an email, and then you just include all of that information. As I mentioned with the email itself, the email address, you can create one that's unique, or you can use one of the options that are provided, which is what I did. So, and then, make sure you provide all the information that it asks for, your email, your phone number, your birth date, all of that. Make sure all of that is included, and then that should allow you to create your email. But in this case, what I'm going to do, this is my Yahoo email right here. And so I'm going to log in and, okay, let's see now. Send me notification. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to log in. Okay. I tell you what, let me do this instead. I'm going to stop. I'm not going to share the screen for one moment. Just bear with me. And I'm going to create an email account, a new one, and then I'm going to log in. All right. So just bear with me one moment. Okay. All right. Okay. So I am, let me create an account. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So we're almost there. Just okay. All right. Okay. Awesome. All righty. So let me go back and share my screen. Okay. Here we go. You see my new account has been created, which is Patrick McCarty 38 at yahoo.com. Done. Okay. So I'm logged back in, as you can see. This is a new account. And this is the let's see. There's the my inbox right there where it says mail. You see where it says mail, everyone? So I'm going to go there. Hold on, I'm going there. Okay, and so here we go. Here is my inbox. As you can see off to the side, you see where it says inbox, unread, starred, drafts, sent, archive, spam, trash. And then you have other functions as well here underneath: photos, documents, subscriptions, groceries, deals, receipts, travel. So the inbox here, if I wanted to send a email to, I'm going to send an email to my other email account, my other personal email account. This is my new one, which I'm going to delete, of course. So if I want to send an email to myself, in this case, when I say myself, my other account, what do I need to do? What's the first step?
If you want to send to yourself,
That's correct. Well, I'm sending it to myself, but I'm
you
really
have to,
sending.
ma'am, sir, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
sure. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you're trying to send it to yourself, I think the best way is when you go to the compose, let me see. You go to the compose, you type
Compose.
your own information in, and then it's gonna
Compose.
ask you from who. Yes, sir. You're gonna put yourself, your email address in there, and then you're gonna put your subject in there.
Just like that.
Yes, sir. And then you're gonna put your subject in there.
Okay. There's a subject.
And then you're gonna put your information in there and it should send it to yourself.
Okay. Okay. So that's exactly right. That's exactly correct. So right where it says to, that's who you're sending the email to. The recipient's email address needs to be right there where it says to. And then of course the subject is where I typed how are you? That's where the subject needs to go. And then of course the text box is the email itself. I mean, what it's the message that you're trying to convey to the recipient. In some cases, now, what if I have and this is something we've encountered here quite a few times. What if I have a document or a picture that I need to send to someone? What do I need? Yeah,
You have to go to the paperclip at the bottom because it's supposed to be like a attached file. Is that the paperclip for the attached file?
that's correct. That's correct. Yes, ma'am. So I'm going to go to attached files and then attach files from computer. Okay. And then I'm just going to, let's see what I can send here. I'm going to send this Angela's Christmas picture that I like. Okay. So that's correct. That's right. There, this is an attachment file, a file that I'm attaching.
He's doing everything. Yes, ma'am. He just teaching you how to do it. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No problem. No problem. You're exactly right. I just attached this picture of Angela's Christmas to the email that I'm sending to myself, to my other email account. So at that point, but you also have other functions here, other things that you can take advantage of that are available, such as GIFs, insert animated GIFs. You have emojis that can be included. Like if I wanted to include some emojis, I can do that, at the end of the email or right here. Let me click on this emoji. There we go. Something like that. If I wanted to include other emails of other recipients, what would I need to do?
I think you go back to the two, up there to the two, and I think you put a comma, like a comma and a space, and then you just add the rest of the information of the new recipient.
Right. So there is. So in this case, I'm literally sending it to the same email that I'm logged into. So you have my original email, and then the email that I just created that I'm logged into. And so, yeah, and that's what, and sometimes in some emails you have, just depending on the web services, the provider, you have an area where you can CC people. You can CC multiple recipients that way. And like I said, it can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 100. But I think, usually, for example, when I send out the link to the Zoom meeting, I make sure to send them individually instead of in one email due to confidentiality purposes. Because some people might not be comfortable with their email being shared with other people. So it's best to have it sent individually in that case. So you just need to be aware and cognizant of that. But in this case, it's fine. I have my original Yahoo email and my newly created Yahoo email, patrickmccarty38@yahoo.com. And so at this point, let's see. Let me go back here. What do I need to do to send the email at this point? Where do I need to go?
Seeing?
Send. That is correct, Latangela. Send. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and send it. All righty. And what does this message say? Your message has been sent. So that means that the message should have gone through. Now, we will check it to make sure that it did indeed go through. Okay, look at that. Look at that. You see where it says, how are you? And then there's the message itself, dear Patrick,
Yes,
good
sir.
morning. Okay, and then there's the time that's listed as well, 11:43. So I just received this this message, this email from myself. So what would I need to do in order to read it?
Click on it.
Click on it. That's right. Hover directly over the email, directly over the message that I just received. And then I'm going to left click. So there we go. There it is. Dear Patrick, good morning. I hope you're well. Please call me when you can. Thanks. Respectfully, yourself. And then there's the Angela's Christmas attachment at the bottom, as you can see. So, and then like for example, with the picture here, Angela's Christmas, if I wanted to print it out, like if you were like, for example, if you're using one of our public computers, right, and you wanted to print this this picture out, all you'll need to do is download the picture by clicking download. And there it is right there, Angela's Christmas. Okay. All right. Okay. Usually, like if you download it, you should be able to open it that way. In this case, it was Microsoft Word file, but but that's you could download it other ways. You can open it as an Adobe file, PDF as well. There are multiple ways of doing it. But yeah, if there's an attachment and it's the correct attachment and everything, you should be able just to download the document and print it that way without any issues. But that's an example of how to do that in terms of like if you have an attachment that you received that needs to be printed, you would need to download it first and then print it from your computer or your mobile device. And then there you see it. This email actually contains the entire conversation. It contains the the email that was just sent to myself. And if I wanted to respond, okay, here's a good question. If I wanted to respond to this email that myself sent to me, what would I need to do?
Hold on, let me see. It usually
That's
have
so
a,
good.
Please say that again.
it usually have a reply button. Like it usually have a reply button. I'm trying to see which one is the reply because it's like different.
You see,
Because that's the back one. That's to take you back. So, oh yeah, there's
that's
the reply
reply.
button. Yeah,
Mhm.
reply
Right
button.
there, reply.
Yes,
That's
sir.
correct. There's a reply button that you'll need to click on to reply to the email to the recipient's email. And so here we go. Here's the reply. This is going to be my reply. Dear Patrick, thanks so much for the email and picture. I hope you're well. Respectfully, yourself. Okay. And I'm going to send it off. Okay. We're going to refresh it. Okay. Okay, so there we go. And there's the reply. You see the entire conversation is listed, the time as well. You see the initial email was sent at 11:41 a.m. I received that email at 11:43. And then I received the response of mine that I just made, the email the response that I just received for myself at 11:47. So you have the time, the date, the time, all of that is documented here, as is the entire conversation and everything that, the back and forth and responses and so forth. So you have all of that. And you know what, if you wanted to print the correspondence, you have that, you can do that too. As I mentioned, you can print the document, like the attachment file in the document by downloading it. If you wanted to print the correspondence, you can do that as well. For example, here is it's loading right now. But there's like one of the there's a part of the correspondence, the email correspondence, and so there is so you can print that, and you can copy and paste it as well. I mean, this is not strictly email related necessarily, but there's if it's something that you really need, it's like important that you need a physical copy of, you could always print it. I mean, if you have access to a printer, if you're using one of the library's public computers, you can print that document, print that email out, or the picture or the attachment file, whatever it is that you have in your email that needs to be printed. You have that capability. Now let me ask you this. Oh, do you have a question?
Yes, sir. And also, when you print it out, if you want to print it out, you can also do the move to folder and put it into your save folder, so you won't lose it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You can do that too. You can do that as well. Very, very good point. Very good point. Oh, no problem. Now, if I wanted to see that, for example, let's do this. Let me go back to the inbox. I'm going to delete this correspondence. Okay. I'm going to, here's the delete button. Delete the selected messages. I have this one message, which was the correspondence, and I'm deleting it right now. Okay. If I deleted something and then it dawned on me, oh my goodness, gosh, I didn't mean to delete that. What am I thinking? What can I do? What do I need to do to retrieve it? What are
Can
my
you go to
options?
the trash? Can you go to the trash?
The three
And then-
buttons.
The trash, that is correct. That's one way of doing it. You can go to the trash bin or the trash application, I guess, here in this case, trash folder. And there it is. Right there. That's exactly right. And you know what? If you click on it, if you select it here where it says checkbox and you check it off, you have the option, the capability of restoring it to your inbox. So you can click on restore to inbox. Voila. And then you can go back in your inbox. And there it is, fully restored, good as new, just like before. But, there's another way you can do it too. And that's by, you can go to sent in this case. I mean, because if you go to sent, then you have the entire correspondence right there as well. So that's also an option. But yeah, the best approach would be going to the trash folder, trash file, because then you can restore it in your inbox and bring it back into the fold, so to speak. So that would be, probably most advantageous, for you. Now, what if just assume that I have 50 emails in my inbox or 60, some outrageous number, right? And I'm looking for a specific email, but I can't find it. What are some ways? What's that?
The search button and type the subject in, or type who the recipient that sent it to you. Look it up through the search button.
And this is, so right here, find messages, documents, photos, or people.
Yes, sir.
So in this case, what I can do, I can type, well, I knew that I sent it to my friend Patrick, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
let me type
Sure.
Patrick's name and see what comes up. Okay. There it is. I mean, and I'm just, this is just an example because we don't have, this is a new account. So it's not like, I have 50 or 60 emails yet for this account, but you see the two emails that came up, the original Yahoo email for signing up. See, it contains my name. Hey, Patrick, welcome to Yahoo Mail. And so that email came up, that message, I should say, as well as the correspondence with myself, because I knew that my name was featured, it was included. So that's a way to shorten, if you're looking for something specific, if you're looking for a specific email or emails, maybe it's 5 or 6 that you're looking for. Maybe you have like all of them contain check stubs that need to be printed, right? And they're with the company that you work for. So that you can search for the company name and you can find the check stubs that way. You can find the emails that contain the check stubs that way, just by typing the company's name. You have that option to narrow down your search. Otherwise, you could spend up to however much time going through, browsing through your inbox, trying to find these emails, and you might not be able to find some, depending on how many emails you have in your inbox. It could take some time. So this is a function here available to you where you can narrow down your search, and it's more efficient that way. Also, in this case with Yahoo Mail, you have the option of going into, detail in terms of like the subject that you're looking for with respect to the email, right? Well, I knew that the subject was about, I knew that I was, just sending a general email to my friend Patrick. So how are you? The date, well, if I remember correctly, I think it was August 28th. So you could customize that, or, the last 7 days, right? I believe I'd sent the email, 3 days ago. So you have the option of selecting in the last 7 days. And then also here we go, attachments, right? Remember, this email did contain an attachment. So you can select that. You can select photo. And then you can search. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, so it should, like, usually it would come up, the email would, all mail. Let's see here, subject to, from, let's go inbox. You can search by inbox, drafts, sent, archive, trash, all of that. Let's go with keyword, right? Patrick, because my name was included in the email, in the exchange, the correspondence. So let's go with that. And then let's search. Okay. Anyway, let's see here. Okay, so this is a very simple example. Just inbox and then any, and then but you could specify, you can customize, as I mentioned, custom dates, last 30 days, last 7 days, and then you can include the attachment. You can include the photo if there's a photo that was sent. If the calendar invite, if you had that was included in the email exchange, you could select it as well. So these are ways, a way for you to narrow down your search, so you can find whatever it is, the email that you're looking for. It's less time consuming, a lot more efficient, instead of just having to kind of browse through your emails to see, okay, I think I received an email 3 weeks ago, but I can't remember who it was from. I think I might know the topic. I believe there was an attachment. If you have certain key information, you should be more, readily able to find the email that you're looking for by using this function here, where you can search and then you can specify or customize what it is that you're searching for in your inbox. Okay. Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding email that you can think of? Anything that you would like for me to go over, or maybe something I did go over but you missed or you're not clear about?
No, sir.
No. Okay. What did you think? What did you think of the class? Did you think that it was pretty straightforward? Did you think that the information, was it helpful? Was it
Yes,
useful?
sir.
Good. Okay. Good. Would you like to see another class like this, like a second introduction to email
Yes,
class?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that, because we can, this is the first class, and I'd like to resume it. I'd like to have a follow-up or a secondary class. And I'd like to do the same for introduction to the internet as well. And as I mentioned, we're looking to have, the programs are still pending. We hope they'll be approved, but we're looking to have an introduction to Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint class in October. So I think this is a good stopping point for this class. I think that we went over pretty much, at least as far as the basics are concerned, all the information in the slideshow presentation. And then also in this case, Yahoo Mail, Gmail, Outlook, they're similar, but they're different. So because I have a Yahoo Mail account, I thought I would go ahead and use this as an example to show you how to, how messages or emails are received, how they're sent, how you can include attachment files, how you can search for emails, all of that. So again, I hope it was all helpful and useful and
Yes, sir.
instructive.
It was a nice class.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
You
Thank you.
You
really
did a
helped me.
wonderful job.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I mean, I couldn't do this myself. I have great staff here. I know I have Miss Ann and the Evers crew to thank as well and as well as the Margaret Walker Alexander Library as well, for signing a number of patrons up. So it's a collective and collaborative effort. We're working together, and we think that even though due to the COVID situation, we don't have any in-person programming occurring, We think that, at least having these virtual programs, through Zoom and other platforms, at least will certainly suffice. I mean, it might not be, it's not the same as actually having an in-person program or in-person class, but hey, at least it's something and it's
It's
helpful.
still fun. It's still
Mhm,
fun.
really
And then
fun.
I do like the breakdown because I never really just took the time to think about the difference between email and personal
Yes,
mail. I really like how you broke it down, the difference, what makes them different.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's the thing. It's, I guess, among a certain generation now, it's like, well, we just take email for granted because that's really
We
what
do.
it's what we
Mhm.
know. We've
Yes,
grown
sir.
up with it. But there was, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago where it didn't exist really. And I mean, at the very least, it was new. It was novel. Very few people had an email account. And now it's like in the workforce now and really just in life, you have to have an email account in order to function. It seems like, it's getting to the point now, of course, obviously it's that way with cell phones,
And it's
with social
better
media.
too. It's better kind of because you're not having to worry about anything being lost in the mail. That's like one
Right.
of my main things of my important information being lost in the mail. So it's kind of hard for anything to be lost through email.
Exactly.
You either don't get it or you get it, but it's not ever lost.
Right. And
Right.
exactly. And you have certain like functions, like, security functions in place as well,
Mhm.
mechanisms in place where, as I mentioned, if you inadvertently delete a message that you received, you
Mhm.
can recover it. You have options of recovering it.
Mhm.
Whereas with mail, with physical mail, it's possible, but it's a lot more difficult.
It is, and it takes a longer
Right.
process to track anything when it comes
Exactly.
to regular mail, but it's faster to track
It's
email.
better.
Mhm.
It's just, overall, it's just more efficient,
It
and
is.
it's a better arrangement. So, emails, of course, critically important. It's efficient. It's advantageous. It's really just, it's a part of our culture. It's a part of, of how we communicate now. Just like
Yes,
text
sir.
messaging is, social media, I mean, it's with us. It has been with us and will likely continue to be with us for the foreseeable future, very least. So, again, does anyone have any questions, comments, observations, anything before we end the class?
No, sir. But I
All right.
really did like it though.
Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed it. I really enjoy teaching these classes. I mean, we enjoy offering the classes. We enjoy, the Jackson
I
Hines
like
library
your
system.
class.
Oh, Latangela, what was that?
I like your class.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for your participation as always. We enjoy having you. Enjoy having
Yes,
all of
I
you.
enjoyed it as well.
Well, thank you. Thanks. I do want to mention this also, as I mentioned earlier, the PowerPoint presentation. If you'd like a copy of the PowerPoint, just send me an email letting me know that you would like a copy, and I'll send it to you.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Well, if there aren't any more questions, that will do it. Again, thank you guys so much for your participation, for your attendance. As always, stay tuned because we have a lot of cool things coming up, a lot of interesting and fun activities and programs and presentations for, when I say we, I mean the Jackson Hines library system, but certain branches specifically as well.
Yes,
So
sir.
stay tuned. Feel free to visit our website, www.jhlibrary.org, for more information. You can give us a call as well. Stay safe with the with Hurricane Ida out there. The weather
You
situation looks.
too.
You too. Yes,
You
sir.
Thank
too.
you.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. So remain
Yeah, thank
safe
you.
and have a have a happy Labor Day as well. Labor Day is coming up quick. On the 6th of September. The library system will be closed that day, but it's quickly approaching. So have a happy Labor Day and remain safe. And
Happy Labor Day to you.
Happy
All-
Labor Day.
Thank
Thank
you. Happy
you.
Labor
all
Day.
righty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one now. Okay.
You
You
too.
You
too.
too.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Okay.